Hello and welcome to Blender and SVerchok. In this episode, I want to share the breakdown of this node tree creations. So you might have seen something similar in the past. It feels like deja vu because I've done this in the past using SVerchok nodes. And today we actually can do this using geometry nodes. So what is this exactly? This is actually really simple. This is the default cube. And I'm using geometry nodes to duplicate the cubes and subdivide it so it looks like a sphere. And all I did here was just to delete some faces of the geometry. But let me quickly reduce the number of duplications first of all. So I just changed this to 10 duplicates. So we have like 10, and I'm using this glass material, and each of the glass material has a different hue, so it's like random, and it has also a little bit of transparency, so it's looking pretty cool as it is. And I can turn on denoise. It's gonna look like a painter, like a yeah, just like a multiple layer of glass, a little bit like onion. That's why I call it like onions. So what I did here, let me explain it. This is really simple. So let me delete the note I didn't use. So all we need to do is to use select one of the texture nodes. You can choose any one of these and just play around with these nodes. I'm choosing I picked the Musgrave texture because I haven't used that, and I just simply plug this into the color ramp, and then the output goes into selections of delete geometry. So it's basically just a selective deletion of these objects. If I get rid of the solidify and subdivision, it's just gonna be looking like this, like a face that's been deleted. You can have a lot of different variations with this setup. So the secret here is really okay, I started with the default cube and I subdivided it, right? So it's originally it's just like a cube, but this cube is also being subdivided and deleted on the fly. And how I did it was to duplicate the cube using instance on points, and I'm using this mesh line, and the count actually come from a value. So let me add something here. So a value, and I just turned it into integer, and this also can go into this map range. So now we have like a complete setup. So the cube is being subdivided, and it's being subdivided using this Musgrave color ramp. All right, so you can use color ramp or map range just to adjust the contrast of black and white. So geometry nodes knows which area you want to subdivide. And so for the subdivision itself, like I say, the value, you can have as many layers as you want for the onion. And let's make this like 30 for now, and then I just added solidify, so it's like it has some kind of thickness. If you want this to be a little bit nicer, you can also subdivide or smooth this surface beforehand. I like this effect so much, actually. It's really simple. It's basically like, yeah, you can imagine like an ant that goes through the ground and then just cutting through the mesh using some kind of texture. This is exactly what's going on. You can increase the details of the Musgrave texture, and just you can start animating this also. The effect's really cool. So yeah, oh, by the way, I forgot to explain. So after you scale, after you duplicate the objects on the same spot, you scale the instance and then realize it into real mesh, turning it back into real mesh. So here I have a setup that's kind of scaling the mesh for every instance copy, so you can actually go inside. So this is a really cool setup that way. Yeah, the rest is just pretty simple. Just set material, and then for the material I set it so it has a different color for each one of the layers of this onion. So the result is going to be something like this. Yeah, just play around with the alpha, I guess. Keep it simple. You can increase the number of rays. You might need to increase this glossy. Actually, I have already pretty high number there. If you have this too low, it's gonna look dark. So let's reduce this to 10 even. So now it's a bit lighter. Increase the alpha. We have like a glass surface, and the light wants to go inside every layers. If you have like a point light at the center, you can try and increase the strength. So there's a light that's trying to get through all this layer of glass. It's looking pretty nice. Okay, so let's get back to this. Again, just mask grave texture that you can animate, and also you can try any of these textures. I think the next one, maybe we can try wave or Voronoi. I think Voronoi is the classic one. Let's try color or the distance. Okay, try distance. This is Voronoi. Voronoi tends to give like a hole. Okay, interesting. We might need to invert this. There we go. This is Voronoi. It gives like a cell kind of quality. It's doing this on every duplicate of the mesh of the cube. That's why it's looking pretty fancy there. Try color. Color also. Color looks different again. We can invert this again once again. So play around with this black and white value ramp, and then you can use 4D to be able to animate the Voronoi. But Voronoi itself has a lot of different type of Voronoi. So play around with that. Yeah, you can get something that's looking pretty cool very quickly. That's Voronoi. It is actually really stable, even with the Blender 3.1 alpha at the moment. Try with noise. Oops. The noise texture. Plug this into the color ramp and take a look at the result. Nothing. Oh. Okay, there we go. We are basically adjusting the contrast of the noise, and by doing that you are controlling how the noise will cut through the mesh. You can also use map range if you want, if you prefer to use map range to get the value. So the value between 0.5 and 0.5, and then just play around with the number until you get something. But I think it's easier using color ramp. Okay, there you go. Let's make like a 50 duplicates. So we have like a planet, some kind of planet. So if you're wondering if this will work with other objects. Of course it will. You just need to plug in something else. What's the easiest one? Cylinder. Plug in cylinder. Oh yeah, maybe the cylinder has a lot of resolution, so be careful with that, and it's gonna create a lot of geometry. Let's get rid of the fill. Okay, now this is how it looks with a cylinder. So you can see all the layers of the onions. So I think this is quite a good looking surface. All right. So yeah, this is really simple. Once again, really trivial, and we've been playing with delete geometry. In the near future, we will have like a extrude face geometry. We can use similar setup. So just play around with the selection, and the rest is just magic. All right. So hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.